What up? It's your boy Wall Street, and I'm back. And today I want to talk about someone I frequently talk about on this channel. I haven't in a while, but today we're going to talk about Ben Simmons and whether or not his NBA career is over. And I'm going to say it, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. There will always be a team, at least for the next year or two, that will want to take a chance on Ben Simmons. But the downfall that this man has had is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. This guy was a $39 million a year player just like a year ago, and is now probably just going to sign for the minimum, right? And there's a bunch of teams that people are talking about that he might go to. They're saying the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, the Sacramento Kings, the Los Angeles Lakers. There's a bunch of teams that people are throwing out there. The Atlanta Hawks. And frankly, I don't know. If I had to pick one, I would say the Knicks or the Celtics, right? I think one of those makes sense. But the dude couldn't really last with fans in Philly. So the Celtics and Knicks fan bases are not going to be much easier to deal with, right? And obviously, hopefully those fans, if he goes to either one of those teams, are going to root for him and hope that he can be what he is. But I think a lot of people, especially in these major market fan bases, are a little unrealistic, right? So they're going to say, oh, this is a former number one overall pick. This will be the year that he turns it around. And I don't think that that's happening anymore, right? I think he can be an impactful player because he's extremely athletic. He's 6'10". He's 240 pounds. This guy is a better version of Draymond Green if he really put his effort into that side of the ball, right? Because I don't think he really did that a lot last season, right? He got bought out by the Brooklyn Nets, signed with the Los Angeles Clippers, played 18 games for the Clippers, and he put up less than 3 points a game in those 18 games. 16.4 minutes, right? So he's got to figure out how to be impactful and stop thinking about the past. Like, I think that's the problem, is that everyone's looking at this dude like, he basically just decided he didn't want to play anymore, right? And I don't know how true that is. Like, I think, he obviously had the holdout situation with the Sixers, but he was also recovering from a back injury. A lot of people don't believe that he was actually injured. I'm not going to say that. If the guy says he's injured, let's take him for his word. He was probably injured. And a back injury is no joke, right? But I think a lot of people, since those things kind of coincided in terms of timing, right? Like, people are just blaming it on, like, okay, like, he just doesn't want to play basketball anymore, right? Which might be part of it. Who knows? But his career's not over yet, but it's certainly going in the wrong direction. And if you had asked me in 2021, will Ben Simmons be sitting in free agency a month after it opens, basically, in 2025, like, I wouldn't have believed that. I would have been like, you're out of your mind. Like, Ben Simmons is going to be the face of the league, right? Because a lot of people were touting this guy as like the next LeBron James, right? And he was putting up, like, he wasn't the same scorer that LeBron was, but he was averaging like 15, 16 points a game while also dishing out like, 7 or 8 assists, getting like, 8 or 9 rebounds a night, a steal and a half to 2 steals a game. Like, he was the guy. He just couldn't shoot threes. And it turned into this situation where everyone was like, oh, well, they're never going to win because he can't shoot threes. I blame a lot of fans for the downfall of Ben Simmons, right? And I know people are just going to say, oh, well, he's a professional athlete. He gets paid millions of dollars. He should be able to cope with the criticism, right? Totally understand that, and I agree. But at the end of the day, these guys are still people. And to be told that you suck and this and that, whatever, and, who knows what else he was going through in his life, he just had a lapse in confidence. And it seems like that confidence never came back. But I'm sure everybody listening, can relate to not feeling super confident at one time or another, right? And if you can't, bless your soul, because to have confidence that never wavers is an incredible skill to have. So you got a blessing for sure with that one. But yeah, man, I just don't know what's going to happen. He's going to sign the minimum. Frankly, he might be, after more money in a sense. And who knows, maybe he goes overseas and plays in China or something where they'll pay him, $5 to $10 million to go show out, right? But, if he does that, if he goes overseas, I don't think he's coming back to the NBA, right? And I don't think he's going overseas this season. I think there's been plenty of noise saying that, teams are looking to sign him. There are a lot of things that he can offer. It's just, are you going to get the Ben Simmons that you think you're going to get, right? And that might not be the Ben Simmons from, 2018 or 2019. That might just be a version of Ben Simmons where he's playing very good defense. One of those guys that can finish in the top 5 for Defensive Player of the Year voting. That's the guy that I think people want when they sign him. They want a guy that's going to be able to handle the ball, pass the ball well, get guys, good looks, and defend, right? And that's it. Be a defensive stopper and a facilitator. And if he can do that, he'll keep his NBA career for sure. He's just not going to be a, $35 to $40 million a year guy anymore. I think those years are done, but he's already made like over $200 million in his NBA career just from contracts alone. So if he didn't play another minute in the NBA, he'd be fine. And he's only 29 years old. So he's got a lot more life to live. He's got a lot more, time where he can contribute. I just, I sure hope that he can, be an exciting player again. But, we haven't seen that in a long time now. So, I mean, the guy hasn't even attempted a three-pointer in, I think, like almost 2 years now because of he just doesn't want to shoot him. I think he doesn't want the criticism. So it is what it is. But let me know what you guys think, man. Where do you think Ben Simmons' NBA career is going? Do you think his career is over? Or do you think he's going to be able to stick this one out and play a couple more seasons in the league? I want to know your thoughts. So please leave some comments down below. I'm going to check you guys later, man. Stay up, stay blessed, stay safe, stay humble, handle business, stand on business. Peace out.